Vanacharya
Atira
Vanacharya Munadira Vanacharya
Atira Vanachamari
Yayorad Madhav Kunjabi Hari
Adha Kunjabihari
Jayorad Madhava Kunjabi Hari Madhava Kunjabi Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Guru Deva,
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna and welcome, dear devotees, to the morning news from spiritual world in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Gyanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshushamritamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Thank you. Humble request. If any of you are able to turn on your camera, that would really help me because it's quite challenging to talk to the to yourself. That's the only person you see on the screen. And I know this is a Zoom. I know that you are at home and maybe in your jammies, not makeup, but that would really be super, super helpful if it's possible. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Taraka Prabhu, for posting the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2. Chapter 2. And verse text 32 and 32 to 34. Thank you so much. My husband's so kind. He just said in front of me. Thank you. All right, so we will so text 32 does not have a purport, neither 33. So I'll just read those two verses myself, and then we will repeat, if possible, the Sanskrit to the verse of 34. So text 32. Rudatya uchar daitan pankajam sinchantya asre kuchakun kumarudneir visrasta kesha baranta sucham rinam srijantya akarandanaya vilepire. Translation. As the queens loudly cried, their tears glided down their breasts, becoming reddened by kunkuma powder, and fell upon the lotus feet of their husband. Their hair became disarrayed, their ornaments fell, and in a way that evokes sympathy from the hearts of others, the queen began lamenting their husband's death. Text 33. Aho vidatra karunenana prabho bhavan pranito drik agocharam dasham usinaranam asti vrita dapura krito dunayana shucham vivardana. Translation. O Lord, you have now been removed by cruel providence to a state beyond our sight. You had previously sustained the livelihood of the inhabitants of Ushinara, and thus they were happy, but your condition now is the cause of their unhappiness. Text 34. Text 34. If possible, please repeat at your homes with me. Tvaya krita gina vaya mahipate. Tvaya krita gina mahipate. Katham vinasya masuhrita menate. Katham vinasya suhrita menate. Tatra nuyanam tava virapadayo. Tatra nuyanam tava virapadayo. Shushrushatinam dishayatrayasyasi.
Shatinam disayatrayas yasi.
Let's do one more time. Tvaja krita gyenavayam mahipate. Tvaya krita gyenavayam mahipate. Katham vinasyama suhrita menate. Katham vinasya suhrita menate. Tatra nuyanam tava vira padayo. Tatra nuyanam tava vira padayo. Shushrushatinam dishayatrayasyasi. Shushrushatinam dishayatrayasyasi. One more time. Tvaya krita gyenavayam mahipate. Tvaya krita gyenavayam mahipate. Katham vinasyam suhrita menate. Katham vinasya suhrita menate. Tatra nuyanam tava vira padayo. Tava vira padayo. Sushrushatinam dishayatrayasyasi. Sushrushatinam dishayatrayasyasi. Thank you. Would anyone on the Zoom would like to recite the verse?
Tvaya krita gena vayam mahipate.
Tvaya krita gena vayam mahipate.
Katam vina syama surita menate.
Katham vinasyam suhrita menate.
Tatranu yanam savavira parayo.
Tatranuyanam tava vira padayo.
Sushrushya shatinam disha yatra. Shushushratinam disha yatra yasyasi.
Shushatinam dishayatrayasyasi. Anyone else, please? Okay. Word for word translation. Tvaya, you. Kritagyena, a most grateful personality. Vayam, we. Mahipate, O king. Kadham, how. Vina, without. Syama, shall exist. Suhrit Tamena, the best of our friends. Te, of you. Tatra, there. Anuyanam, the following. Tava, of you. Vira, O hero. Padayo, of the lotus feet. Shushrushatinam, of those engaging in the service. Disha, please order. Yatra, where. Yasyasi, you will go. Translation. O king, O hero, you are a very grateful husband and the most sincere friend of all of us. How shall we exist without you? O hero, wherever you are going, please direct us there, so that we may follow in your footsteps and engage again in your service. Let us go along with you. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Formerly, a Kshatriya king was generally the husband of many wives, and after the death of the king, especially in the battlefield, all the queens would agree to accept Saha Marana, dying with the husband who was their life. When Pandu Maharaj, the father of the Pandavas, died, his two wives, namely the mother of Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Arjuna, and the mother of Nakula and Sahadeva, were both ready to die in the fire with their husband. Later, after a compromise was arranged, Kunti stayed alive to care for the little children, and the other wife, Madri, was allowed to die with her husband. The system of Mahamarana continued in India even until the time of British rule, but later it was discouraged, since the attitude of wives gradually changed with the advancement of Kali Yuga. Thus, the system of Saha Marana has practically been abolished. Nevertheless, within the past 50 years, I have seen the wife of a medical practitioner voluntarily accept death immediately when her husband died. Both the husband and wife were taken in the procession in the mourning cart. Such intense love of a chaste wife for her husband is a special case. Tvaya kritagyena vayam mahipate katham vinasyama suhritamenate tatra nuyanam tava virapadayo shushrushatinam dishayatriyasyasi. Translation again. O king, O hero, you are a very grateful husband and the most sincere friend of all of us. How shall we exist without you? O hero, wherever you are going, please direct us there, so that we may follow in your footsteps and engage again in your service. Let us go along with you. Wow, so we have here a little look into the Vedic culture that existed 5,000 years ago still, and then gradually with the progress of Kali Yuga, the Vedic culture has been extinct. There's still some traces of it, and of course in our Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada encouraged us and inspired us through his wisdom and through the books to accept some aspects of Vedic culture that was still applicable in our present time. Obviously, from this verse and translation by Srila Prabhupada, we are learning that this ritual, I don't know, ritual, we can call it like Sahamarana, where the wife would actually voluntarily die when her husband died. It has been abolished due to the Kali Yuga progression and lack of the higher understanding and also the qualities for both husband and wife. Like even when I was reading this translation of the verse and recalling some couples that I know that you know, they went through their life for many years, or sometimes maybe they remarried many times. So I don't recall them like offering prayers like this or saying, yeah, like we want to continue our service to you, and wherever you go, please maybe blessed to go with you. Rather, it's like, oh, finally, finally the person is not there, you know, like we don't have to deal with everything, and we just, you know, happy and free. Of course, there are still couples that are very much attached to each other, and they are continue their life in a mode of beautiful service, especially when we talk about Vaishnava society. So then when we are being separated from the other person, and Krishna calls our soulmates to continue their journey in a different aspect of devotional service, in different body, in different region, then we're experiencing separation. I actually had this very heartbreaking experience of hearing one devotee of Krishna, Indian devotee that visited Gita Nagari farm over the weekend. And she was sharing with me and my husband her experience of her brother passing away. He was also a very devoted and sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. And although it happened over a year ago, her pain was so fresh. And as she was sharing, she was crying. And when we experience pain, such a deep pain, this thought of, you know, actually wanted to leave as well is very valid at that moment. The pain is so big that it's very hard to continue, or imagine to continue living. And in Vedic time, that Sahamarana that was not something that was forced upon. The separation that the wives would feel after husband departure was so strong that it was impossible to imagine living without his presence, and also the desire to continue the service, because the husband was not an ordinary person. Now, if we have a little glimpse, little deeper into the Vedic culture, then we know that um, the marriage was arranged very early in the age of a girl, when she was, just in early teen years, or even before that. And the marriage was a big deal. It was important, and it was, we can say it was arranged, but this word doesn't really offer all the depth and meaning of actually how that was done, because there was a sort of calculation and consultation to make sure that the two people that would share their journey of life for the rest of their lives and help each other to advance on a spiritual path, but also live peacefully and happily while they are in the material world. It was many consultation, as I mentioned, astrological, to make sure that they are compatible to each other, that they would be able to live happily and also help each other on this journey. So then, from the early age, the girl, very young girl, she was not living with this attitude. Yeah, I'm gonna like mature and I choose my husband. No, there was already in her mentality. She already had a husband, so this affection was cultivated so much, and the service attitude even before they officially got married and started their own life. And this it was based on the service. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a desire tree. Whatever you want to learn about, you will find this. And whatever our focus is, we will also be able to see verses and Srila Prabhupada purpose in this regard. And I remember when I was personally getting ready to get married, actually both with my husband, we would purposely search for the verses that would talk about what are the duties of the wife, what are the duties of the husband, and their relationship. And then we were like surprised how much is in Srimad Bhagavatam of advice and instruction to make sure that our married life is not only happy, but how we can continue this very respectful relationship for the rest of our lives, and how we can help each other to make spiritual progress. And here is also mentioned about Pandu Maharaj. So this is, we go back to like Mahabharata. Mahabharata is such a fascinating, we can say, a story. And in a kind of beginning of Mahabharata, we learn about Maharaj Pandu, who was an amazing king, and he had two wives, which was Kunti and Madri. And he was ruling very happily. His life was very happy, and the citizens were happy. Everything was going well. But then one day he went to the forest and he was hunting, which was for kshatriyas, was a good way not only to practice their martial arts skills, because obviously their main duty is to one of the main duties is to protect, but also to keep balance in the forest, so take care of those more aggressive animals that they could create some havoc. So unfortunately, what he assumed to be a deer, that was Sage and his wife in the disguise of, I believe they were in a like assumed deer bodies, to have some loving exchanges. So his intention was that he's gonna shoot a deer, and unfortunately that was a big mistake, because as soon as this happened, the sage, they discovered their identity, and they cursed the king, saying that you done such an abominable act, and because of this next time you know approach your wife with a loving affection and like embrace and of your wives, that you will die on a spot. So Maharaj Pandu, he was such a religious and also detached person that he immediately gave up his kingdom. He gave up everything, all the luxury, all the riches, everything, and took off his royal garments, and he immediately renounced everything and went to the forest to perform the life of ascetic. And sometimes when we read something like this, we say, yeah, he just gave up and and went away. But this is a big deal. This is a big deal. On our conditioned state of Kali Yuga, being born in Kali Yuga, giving up a little things, it's just so difficult, so difficult. In my wellness business, sometimes I meet people that are dealing with different health challenges, and one of the way that they could actually help themselves very much is by adjusting their diet. Just adjusting the diet, removing some things from their diet, adding some things to their diet, and they are not able to do it. Although at the stake is their own health, not even right now in the moment, not only at the moment, but for many years to come, and they are not able to do so. So rejecting something, it's not such an easy thing. And now we are talking about Maharaj Pandu that was able to renounce everything instantly, everything instantly. That shows the what high personality he was. So he goes to the forest, and two of his wives follow him as well. So that's also coming from all the comfort that they were experiencing in the royal life, living in a palace and so on, having servants and receiving everything on demand. Now they are also giving up everything and following the Pandu. That also shows the affections that they felt to Maharaj Pandu, and how their relationship was based on service. So they are in the forest performing, living very simply, performing austerities and deepening their relationship with the Supreme, performing spiritual practices, and unfortunately also by the divine arrangement, so that the Mahabharata can unfold. At one beautiful day, Pandu, unfortunately, Maharaj Pandu felt, you can say, he contemplated maybe for a second too long the beauty of one of his wife, Madri, and it developed to the state of him actually wanted to have a loving exchange, and although Madri was fully aware what that would bring to him, basically his instant death, and she was trying to prevent Maharaj Pandu from embracing her, she was not able. That this lasting desire in his heart was just too strong at the moment. And so as soon as he approached her, he basically left his body because of this curse that he has received from the sage. And when this happened, that both wives, Madri and Kunti, they both lamented, and they both wanted right away to also leave their bodies and follow her husband. That was their life. But they have 5 young children, 5 Pandava brothers. So they had this conversation, and each was trying to convince the other that, okay, I should follow the husband. But somehow they, after conversation, after compromise, was arranged that actually Kunti is gonna stay and Madri is gonna follow the husband. So so we may look at this and feel like, wow, this is like we may flip through those pages even of Srimad Bhagavatam, thinking, oh, it doesn't apply to us. This was like back then, that's how they do it. And even Srila Prabhupada explained that this is not done anymore. But I would like to encourage each of us to actually look deeper. What was the foundation of those beautiful dealings that they had. And of course, we can say there was a loving relationship, but what was the cause? What was the root foundation of those loving, such a deep loving exchanges that they have? And there's no possibility of love, of loving exchange, if there's no respect. So everything starts from the respect. And in Vedic times, they were able to maintain this respectful relationship through the entire lives due to certain, I would say, like, I don't know, yeah, like restrictions, maybe that's the word. Maybe there's a better word. And what I mean that, there's the saying that familiarity brings contempt. And it's very easy when we have such a very close relationship with someone. I remember my Guru Maharaj, the Vamrita Maharaj, he would sometimes jokingly say that when two people get together, when they are getting married, then the husband's hope is that the wife will never change. Because, when we try to win someone over, right, we are like so humble and pleasing and all the time at the service, whatever you say, yeah, I'm here to do it, like sweet, gentle, all of this, right? So the husband always have this desire, yeah, this is the wife I want to have for the rest of my life, right? And on the other hand, it's kind of funny, but the woman always think, yeah, he's almost perfect. He's almost perfect, but there are some things that we could like a little, tweak, improve. So yeah, so over the gradually we'll make it happen. So actually, the wife, future wife, or whatever, is making plans how we're gonna adjust the husband so it actually is like really, really perfect, exactly how we want him to be, how we want him to dress and how we want him to look, even like from external point of view. Or the husband has this vision that, yeah, I want this lady to stay like that. And actually, the reality is, and those, I know some of you on a call will be embracing that path very soon. The reality is that gradually, because familiarity again brings contempt, the sweet, humble, submissive, always gentle, always ready to serve wife start to drift a little bit away. And it's like, when husband asks for something, then she may say, why don't you do it yourself? Like I kind of like that. And this respect that was originally there in a very close relationship can be gradually diluted. And the men, usually it's hard to change the men. So better get ready, accept them as they are, because it's gonna take very long time for a man to actually be adjusted. It takes decades, okay? That's my personal experience. And it also, one has to learn the art how to do it. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, that the Vedic culture was so beautiful that it created certain boundaries and restrictions to help us to maintain those respectful relationships. And the restrictions are everywhere. Like, for example, I was just thinking that, okay, why we have the rules on like driving on the road? There's like a speed limit, like different things, or they would say like, there's no passing zone. Why we have those? Yeah, we have those to keep us safe and also not to allow some like really get crazy and do reckless driving. So we have those boundaries for our own benefit, right? Even like we have at Gita Nagari, we have those fields, pastures, right? And they are fenced, right? Why they are fenced? Why we don't let cows like roam freely, right? It's first of all for their own safety, for safety of us as well, right? So this actually gives the freedom in a sense that it gives protection. Like we have this one cow which is called Apple. It's an oxen. And since he was a little one, he would just escape. He would figure out a way to actually break through the fence and like freely roam and search for this greener grass on the other side. But he would always come back. And this habit continue. And actually, it's so fun to watch him. With my husband, it's happened that he's close to where we are staying at Gita Nagari. And one time we actually witnessed him how he does it. And it's so fun to watch him to do this. And, and he goes around and come back. But finally, devotees really decided, okay, that's not too good, because now he's small and it is fun. But as he's gonna really fully grow to a, full-size mature oxen, huge one, that will not be so much fun. So this is the habit that needs to be restrained. And the only thing is for right now to restrain him is by really making sure that there's no way he can easily escape, right? So we have those different external reasons because the material world, especially Kali Yuga, is designed in such a way that is primarily ruled by Rajaguna and the Tamaguna. The amount of ignorance is going to be on increase as the Kali Yuga progresses more and more. And that also means that everything is on decline. So if we are not moving forward, moving upwards, there's no plateau. We immediately go down. So that's why this saying that familiarity brings contempt, because it means that it's almost like we are not working on maintaining, which actually means maintaining actually means doing upwards progress of the relationship. And we are just kind of sitting on the plateau. Okay, this is my relationship, this is my husband, and he's gonna be there, so we don't have to any longer to make endeavor, just like we did in the beginning of relationship, let's say to secure the other person, that we don't have to do this anymore. And then immediately it will create this familiarity. So one of the beautiful way that we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam and from Srila Prabhupada and dealing with, very advanced devotees, how we can, not only in a marriage relationship, but also between each other, how we can maintain those respectful relationships that would ultimately lead to a loving relationship, is by respecting ourselves, but properly even addressing ourselves. So I don't know if any of you would like to, I would like to have a little interactive part. So maybe some of you would like to help me with that. But even in the at the court, let's say this is famous name for the judge, like John Smith. We have a judge that his name is John Smith, and then he everybody knows that this is his name. But when there's a court case and people present there addressing him, even his co-workers, they don't address him, hey, John, what's the next thing we're going to do in this court? They address him, your honor. So I just want you to visualize you being in a court right now, and maybe you are witnessing some case going on, and then and you want to say something, right? So just imagine this, and then you are calling the judge, hey, John, I want to say something. I want to just think for a moment, even if I would love if somebody would share, like what kind of feeling or emotions or attitude that creates. I don't know, any of you would like to share? Today's a quiet audience. But yeah, I personally, when I even say this, I immediately feel like this. I feel like, okay, he's just like a fellow of mine. He's my fellow. I can say anything. Yeah, he knows something, but I also know something. So yeah, it's it brings this relationship of more like a equality and like friendship. And when I say, okay, excuse me, Your Honor, can I please, would you mind if I say something? Then it immediately evokes the feeling of respect And why is this respect important? Why, when we have a speaker, we present them to the audience? Why we kind of edify them, and while presenting them, we kind of explain like who they are, what they have accomplished, what they have studied. Why is that important, this respect? And it is important because it allows the audience to open their ears with more attentiveness. Because we like to hear from someone who has more knowledge, more experience, more wisdom, and so on. So similarly, we can take this example, even like when you are pulled over, and then the policemen come, and you may know their name or whatever, but you don't say, hey, you say, uh, 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 hey guy, like what do you want? No, we say like, yes, sir. We address them by officer, yes, sir. Why is that? Again, it's the same thing. Those words bring certain respect. And I remember that one of the most important instructions that I took in the beginning, and I took it to my heart, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, that the wife should address the husband as Prabhu. Again, why is that important? Like of course, we may have some, because of the closeness of relationship, the loving relationship, we have some, sweet names that we may call each other, and it's normal as well. But when it comes to more official conversation, or like talking about husband in official surroundings, the addressing by Prabhu, it brings this proper respect and also proper weight to that relationship that I have with my husband, but also that I want others to have with my husband. And again, you can just visualize and reflect on yourself as well. Like if okay, I'm just gonna give an example again, and I will take someone who is not on the call. This would be easier. Like if I say, yeah, I spoke with Nagaraj, and we talk about this and this and that. Like it's again, like with the example from the court, it just makes this the attitude and relationship, it's just being on different. Where for myself, when I speak like this, but when I say, I just had this conversation with Nagaraj Nitai Prabhu, that reminds me that he is not just another person out of all the people I know, like some whoever. It's a devotee. It's Prabhu. It's a devotee, and that for me, it's a restraint that I should be very aware how I talk about this devotee, how I approach him, and so on and so on. So Srimad Bhagavatam and the instruction that we get, they are not outdated. I want to say they are not outdated. They are not like something that those people that lived 5,000 years ago that they follow. Those instructions are also for us. And some of them may be easier for us to apply in our daily life. Some of them may be much harder, but still, it's not an excuse to not work on implementing this beautiful Vedic culture in our life. Of course, according to time, place, and circumstances. I'm not encouraging Sahamarana. This is over the we apply Krishna conscious into our lives with intelligence. But there's a lot of other aspects that we can apply, and they will make our life not only not only easier, but also happier in its material world, because we still have to go through whatever decades we have to, and we want that we minimize the suffering. And the suffering can also come from this condemn, from familiarity. And it's especially in the close relationship. And when this familiarity creeps in, the suffering that we are experiencing from the people that we are the most closely related to, they are the most painful. Like, like if someone that you just know or disrespect you, it's easier to swallow when someone that you are very close with and they are being disrespectful. That is extremely, extremely, extremely painful, because again, we have the expectation that the person that we are very close related with, husband, children, and that they actually love and us in a proper way and respect us. We have certain expectation, and it's normal. We have the most intimate relationship with them. So okay, so I will just actually stop. Sorry, I was just when I don't prepare and I didn't have much time to prepare, I tend to talk too much. So I apologize for this. I would open this for feedback and questions and your realization on that topic. It would be really, really nice to hear. Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Since there's no question, I just would like to share one more thought for you to contemplate, deliberate upon, is that that the details matter. The details really matter. And it's something that is so relevant and true in every aspect of our life. Everything. It's not like, mm, how nicely you chanted, on Janmashtami, or how nicely you chanted when you were really desperate and, experiencing some painful situation. That doesn't matter so much like how you chant every single day. Also, those details actually show our true, our love, the details. And we may say that some of those details are not important, and like the way we call each other. But I personally, I feel it's so, so important, because it also allows us to not only keep those boundaries with the most dear devotees of Krishna, the most dear person to him, his devotees, respect that, have this loving, sweet relationship. But also it prepares us to the proper dealing with the Lord itself, with Krishna itself. So those details, they are hard, because they allow us, they require consistency. Like our daily chanting. Consistently chant good quality japa is hard, but that matters. That matters. All those little details matter. So let's not like neglect them or skip them and think they are not important, but rather pay attention, because those little details, they will multiply and they create a true, respectful, and loving relationship between each other, between husband and wife, friends, mother, daughter, children, and so on. So that was the final thought. Thank you so much. Oh yes, Lila Kishori, please kindly unmute yourself. We would love to hear from you. Whenever you speak, you just share such a beautiful words of wisdom, and also in such a beautiful, sweet way.
Oh my goodness. No pressure. Hare Krishna, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for your class. What a difficult subject to talk about. This idea of deciding to let go of your life, because your husband has left the planet. And I love how you spoke about the differences in Vedic culture and this age, and one of them being the idea of being betrothed. and what a betrothal really was, which was basically you were considered to be legally married when this agreement was made. It wasn't like this is sort of a future contract, kind of a, it's loose agreement. You could just get out of it at some point. At that point, you became a wife and you became a husband, and the community around you supported you so that you could fulfill that contract when you became of age. And I'm thinking of the difference now, how in engagement now, it's about who got the biggest ring. It's all about envy and flash and, who's going to have the giant wedding and, 55 jesters and 65 flower girls and whatever else, all of this. And no one is thinking about God, and no one is thinking about what a marriage truly is. And because we do have people on the call who are about to go into this very, very sacred contract, to remember that first that Krishna is at the head and the heart of the marriage, and that this is what empowered these women to be chaste, but also, and you said it sort of indirectly when you talked about Pandu, it's very difficult to be a chaste wife if you don't have a husband who's truly leading, who's truly Krishna conscious, who's truly protecting and cherishing a wife and providing for a wife. So it's on both sides that there should be respect. And I was thinking about, sometimes I say the husband because I try not to be so possessive of my husband, but that when he speaks to me of other people, he doesn't say Linda, he says my wife, and he continuously puts that title, in front of just saying my name. So people would think, to speak of me that same way. And people responded to him with, how is your wife? Or, what did your wife say about this? And it keeps a level of respect, like you said, and a level of knowing what this relationship is. So in all cultures, when there was a higher sense of God in the world, in Christian culture, it is a sacrament. And a sacrament is something that imparts the grace of God. So it is a ritual, yes, the ceremony, but the idea behind it is that you said, I will serve now in this way, and I'll serve God, and God comes first. In Islamic culture, it's the same thing. And actually, people are supposed to read the Quran twice with witnesses from both families before they even say, yes, we'll really enter into this contract, because it's not a light thing. It is another way of serving the Lord, and probably one of the most difficult relationships people are going to have. Friends, you can get a break from. Children, you love naturally as a mother or father. But a husband is like a wife. This is an ongoing day-to-day thing of learning to serve, to compromise, to support, So I think, it's not to be entered into lightly. And it's an opportunity. And that's what I thought of. I thought of Shisha Upanishad, how it says that the suffering in this world is really our opportunity to grow, to change, to give up our envy and our crazy anarchists, and to get back to Krishna. So is a marriage. It's an opportunity to learn to serve another at a level other than your spiritual master, you may never serve another human being this consistently. And to go to God all the time. It takes you are a married woman, a lot of prayer. And help close my mouth. Let my words be kind. Let me be submissive when I don't want to be, all of these sorts of things. So if it can be viewed that way as an opportunity to consistently go to the Lord and say, shape me and change me and create in me a spirit of service and love and submission and cherishing and protection, then we're treating a marriage as it's supposed to be treated. And then to remember too, especially for those who are entering into this, a marriage is an organic thing. It requires nurturing. It requires attention. It is not something to just say, now I got this and cast. It's not a possession. It's not even yours. It's created by the Lord. So it is one of the Lord's creations, and you have to cherish it and honor it. So that's what you brought up in me with your speaking today. And thank you so much for the way you handle this very delicate subject. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Lila Kishori. That was such a beautiful, beautiful conclusion of the what I was trying to share. You said it much better what I was trying to say. So I really appreciate this very, very much. And I also wanted to point out that bring your attention to the chat if you have a moment. Taraka Prabhu, thank you so much. He kindly presented many quotes from either conversation. Most of them are from conversation, Srila Prabhupada and his disciple, about proper dealing and addressing each other in our Vaishnava culture. So please kindly look at them, or maybe we can also request Taraka Prabhu to post in one of our groups, since the chat will disappear very soon. Yeah, so I think we are about to greet the Lordship Shri Radha Damodar. So thank you so much for your attention. Hare Krishna.